welcome to the Broadway.com show, your go-to guide for everything happening on stage. I'm Imogen Lloyd-Webber.
And I'm Ryan Lee Gilbert. This week we go behind the lens with Hello Dolly's incredible dancers, learn all about Susan Stroman and John Kander's new musical, The Beast in the Jungle, and more.
And later, Mean Girls standout Kate Rockwell dishes all about the new musical. But first, let's get started with the news. What's the buzz, Ryan?
First up, some truly spectacular news. After leading a developmental lab last year, Broadway.com Audience Choice Award winner Aaron Tveit and Tony Award winner Karen Olivo will lead the world premiere of Moulin Rouge, the musical, this summer. The stars will take on the roles of Christian and Satine, played on screen by Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman in Baz Luhrmann's 2001 film. They'll be joined by Danny Burstein, Sar Ngaja, Tam Mutu, Ricky Rojas, and Robin Herder in the musical adaptation, with additional casting to be announced soon. Featuring direction by Alex Timbers, a book by John Logan, and choreography by Sonia Taye, Moulin Rouge will reopen Boston's Emerson Colonial Theater and run June 27th through August 5th. The musical is expected to transfer to Broadway, though no word yet on a theater or dates.
Ryan, how much time have you spent thinking about who you dreamcast for a new version of Lady Marmalade?
Oh, I mean, days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months.
That's what I thought. Nominations for this year's Lucille Lortel Awards, which celebrate the best of off-Broadway theatre, are in. K-pop garnered the most nods of any tuner, 9, including lead actress for Mean Girls' Ashley Park, and Outstanding Musical, Desperate Measures, 100 Days, Jerry Springer the Opera, and Bella, An American Tall Tale, round out that category. Other notable nominees included the Broadway-bound production of Harvey Fierstein's Torch Song, and that show's star Michael Urie. Billy Crudup, nominated for David Cale's Harry Clark, Queen Leslie Margarita, honoured for Matthew Lombardo's Whose Holiday, and Susan Laurie Parks, who received a pair of noms for revivals of her plays A and In the Blood. The 33rd annual ceremony, hosted by Laura Benanti and Jason Jones, will take place on May the 6th.
MCC Theatre will present a limited return engagement of Jocelyn Bayo's critically acclaimed Schoolgirls, or the African Mean Girls play, at the Lucille Lortel Theatre this fall. Tony winner Rebecca Teichman will return to direct the production, with performances set to begin October 16th through November 25th. Schoolgirls received its world premiere from MCC last fall and tells a coming-of-age story set in an all-girls boarding school in Ghana during the 1980s and explores themes of beauty, colorism, and female adolescence. Casting for the return engagement will be announced at a later date.
After an extended run at the York Theatre Company last year, Desperate Measures is heading to off-Broadway's New World stages from May the 30th. Directed by Bill Castellino and featuring music by David Friedman, along with a book and lyrics by Peter Kellogg, the new musical comedy is inspired by Shakespeare's Measure for Measure. Set in the early 1890s, it tells the tale of Johnny Blood, a handsome young man whose life is in danger over a saloon brawl, forcing him to put his fate into the hands of a colourful company of characters. No word yet on casting, although Lauren Molina previously starred. We will keep you posted.
Imogen, do you think Shakespeare ever imagined one of his best comedic works would be adapted to take place in the American Old West?
Seeing as he died roughly 200 years prior, my guess would be no.
That's a fair point. What's the buzz about our next story? I'll give you the facts and figures. I'll even give you plans and forecasts. Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice's musical Jesus Christ Superstar will launch a national touring production in fall 2019. Helmed by director Timothy Sheeter and choreographer Drew McConey, the Regents Park Theatre production of JCS, which won the 2017 Olivier Award for Best Musical Revival, is scheduled to play over 50 cities throughout North America. Of course, NBC's Jesus Christ Superstar live in concert was recently watched by over 9.6 million viewers and received the highest critical ranking of any live musical event on network TV. Producer Stephen Gabriel says the touring show will pay tribute to the historic 1971 production while creating a modern world that is uniquely fresh and inspiring. Full creative team, casting, and cities will be announced at a later date.
Across the pond, Jenna Russell will take on the role of Helen in the London debut production of the Tony-winning Fun Home. Other cast members joining the Olivier winner and Tony nominee include Kasia Hammerland as Alison, Eleanor Kane as Medium Alison, and Zubin Vala as Bruce. Sam Gold is back to helm Lisa Crone and Janine Tesori's musical, which is scheduled to play the prestigious Young Vic from June the 18th. Meanwhile, Pressure, a new play penned by and starring David Haig, will transfer to the West End's Ambassadors Theatre. Based on the true story of two warring Allied meteorologists tasked with predicting the weather conditions for the D-Day landings, the production will play a limited engagement from June the 6th.
When we come back, we get schooled on the off-Broadway productions of Admissions, starring Jessica Hecht, and Transfers, starring Juan Castano, and more.
This week on Broadway.com, the band's visit songwriter David Yazbek gets psyched for Tony season swag on Show People. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child fresh-faced Sam Clement makes some magic, and more.
First things first, you need to get a ticket to Travesties. Tom Stoppard's London Smash is Broadway's newest must-see. This wild ride of a comedy has it all. Art, love, revolution, and the Tony Award for Best Play. Don't miss Travesties.
Hello, I'm Andrew Garfield and you're watching the Broadway.com show.
Welcome back. It's no secret that the Tony-winning revival of Hello, Dolly is one of Broadway's hottest tickets. This production has it all. Unforgettable numbers, stunning sets, and an incredible performance from stage legend Bernadette Peters in the title role. In addition, the musical's ensemble truly takes this theatrical experience to the next level. They recently put on their Sunday clothes and showed off their moves in an exclusive Broadway.com photo shoot with photographer Matthew Murphy. Take a look.
Joshua Harmon's Admissions grapples with issues of white privilege, family expectations, and exploded ideals at a New England prep school. We headed to star Jessica Hecht's dressing room at Lincoln Center Theater to talk about the well-crafted new work and its personal ramifications.
I think that I sometimes describe Admissions inaccurately because it's all based on what you connected to in the story. But for me, it's a story about this family whose son is waiting to hear about his college acceptance. And when that is found out, the issues of race that they've been mired in their whole lives and family expectations all bubble to the top. And it's a lot about white privilege and white expectations and shame. I feel like the story is incredibly true. For lack of a better word, the issues that the characters deal with on like an uber level, and then the issues that they deal with interpersonally within their family is really super, super honest. And it's funny because Josh Harmon wrote the play over 12 years, and so when he began writing it, he was closer to what it feels like to be in a white, educated family with a very high academic pedigree, and how kind of bullshit that might be to someone, and how incredibly overwhelming that might be to someone else.
Hecht says playwright Harmon describes the play as one in which the characters are in a constant state of redefining themselves.
He was quick to say that it wasn't a play in his mind about race, or he in no way intended that to be what stamped this play. It's more a play about people examining themselves. We've just started now as a community to do that. And our kids are forced to do it all the time. And I think the humor of this play is that we're not really forced to do it as much as we should be. Each of us is probably culpable of what our character is culpable in the play, without a doubt. And so there's like this exorcism of sorts, so just on a very basic level. That's what the play is about, just holding true to who you think you are.
Scribe David Thompson, director choreographer Susan Stroman, and composer John Kander have joined forces on the new musical, The Beast in the Jungle, which is scheduled to begin performances at the Vineyard Theatre on May 4th. The production stars Tony nominees Peter Friedman and Tony Yazbek as John Marcher at different ages. The character's life is haunted by the constant worry that his life is to be doomed by a catastrophic happening, a beast in the jungle. We headed to New 42nd Street Studios to get the scoop on this new work.
It is a story by Henry James. He wrote a novella called The Beast in the Jungle, and it's about this man named John Marcher who sort of goes through his entire life afraid of what love can do to him and the commitment that love could possibly have an effect on him. And so what happens is he becomes haunted by this beast that physically, emotionally, mentally is attacking him. Now, whether or not that is real or not, we find out in the play. But he believes that he is completely conquered if he gets too close to real love.
I love what Tommy Thompson has done with the original Henry James novella. He's done a fabulous adaptation, and having done one workshop, seeing the work that Susan Stroman has done to make it all live is very exciting, you know, and of course to be here with John Kander is incredible.
The show talks about fear in the sense of some people have something that have happened to them in their lifetime that keeps them from moving forward. Somehow this event grips them like a beast, and it keeps them from living their life.
Thompson, Stroman, and Kander are the all-star creative team behind the Tony-nominated musical The Scottsboro Boys, which also got its start at the Vineyard. They spoke about their longtime collaboration.
This will be my 4th show at the Vineyard. I did Flora the Red Menace and The Scottsboro Boys and the play Dot. So The Beast in the Jungle will be my 4th show there. But also the collaboration of John Kander and David Thompson and myself, we have a great collaboration, and it's a joy to work with one another and feed off of one another. And the Vineyard is like a home for us. I know Kander's done a couple shows there too, and it's just like a place to create, and it feels very fulfilling to be at the Vineyard.
Stro and I started our careers with Kander and Fred Ebb doing Flora the Red Menace in 1988 at the Vineyard as a revival. I rewrote the book, and Stro choreographed it, and Scott Ellis actually had directed it. But it was an opportunity for us to start a collaboration that 30 years ago, I can't imagine a day going by without it.
Well, the Vineyard is our home, really, or certainly mine, and it all happened actually during the party after Scottsboro Boys opened, and I very drunkenly asked, "Can I live here?" And they very drunkenly said, "Sure."
Lucy Thurber's new play Transfers focuses on 2 gifted students from the South Bronx competing for a life-changing scholarship from an elite university. During a campus visit, the young men are unexpectedly confronted with their shared past while trying to break through a system that seems designed to keep them on the outside. We chatted with Thurber, director Jackson Gay, and the rest of the cast to get the scoop on this new work.
Transfers is about 2 students from the South Bronx that are trying to get into an Ivy League school through scholarship.
I myself was a scholarship kid, and I came from a very poor rural background, and when I started working with the youth company here at MCC, I met a couple of young men who became like family to me, and I wrote a play about our conversations.
Lucy Thurber is kind of an activist playwright, and she often writes about issues surrounding class and race and about invisible people wanting to be visible.
I read 2 plays of hers last year, and I thought she was amazing. And when this play came about, I read it right away, and I read it again, and I said, I have to do this.
Lucy had written this really beautiful story about people that I recognized, and that really immediately I had such an emotional response and wanted to be a part of it.
This play has been an incredible thing to watch happen. She's an educator herself and has been leading the MCC Youth Company for years, and to see her take the experience with them and turn it into its own piece of art and give them a voice, and to be a part of that process is really exciting.
The cast and company revealed what Thurber's play says about education and opportunity.
If you can access education, you can change your life. You can enter into places that you've never been. But there are barriers, you know.
I honestly believe the solution to all of America's problems is the educational system, but I think it's a complicated situation.
No one has a right more than someone else based on where they're from or who their parents are or how much money they have, but education is the one equalizer that we all have to fulfill our dreams.
For a lot of people, education is a way out out of their current circumstances. You know, and it's important.
I think it's actually raising more questions than it is making statements. So hopefully what people take away will be a conversation and a dialogue that they start having.
When we return, we catch up with Kate Rockwell to talk all things Mean Girls.
First things first, you need to get a ticket to Travesties. Tom Stoppard's London Smash is Broadway's newest must-see. This wild ride of a comedy has it all. Art, love, revolution, and the Tony Award for Best Play. Don't miss Travesties.
And we are back with Kate Rockwell, currently playing Karen Smith in Mean Girls. Look, you're on the poster.
I know, look, there I am. Mom, I'm on the poster.
Broadway dreams come true. You can still wind up on a Broadway poster.
Can you believe it? It's just like, you finally let go of that dream when you realize that like that's not the way it usually works. And then like one day they put up your face on a billboard and you're like, oh my God, it's me.
There it is. So how is it going? You're opening this week.
We open on Sunday.
Yes.
It's going so well.
Yeah.
It's such a wonderful show, honestly. And I mean, I get to say that because I'm in it and I feel like I have to say that. But, you know, Mean Girls is such a big part of my life when I was growing up.
Okay.
And when I heard that this piece was being done, this was, you know, 5 or 6 years ago when the rumors started going around that they wanted to do Mean Girls the musical, I was like, I will like Tanya Harding some knees to get in this show. It is like for sure the thing I have to be a part of. And then now all these years later, like here I am actually doing it, and it is the most exciting project I've ever been a part of. It's so joyful.
So when you thought I need to be in that, did you think Karen?
You know,
or I mean, because that's interesting. I mean, you could have played a lot of different characters in this show.
I think what I love about getting to be Karen is that this gives me an opportunity to explore comedy in a way that I've never really been able to do before. And I love comedy. Comedy is a puzzle. And it's about being honest and about being simple and about being natural, but it's also scientific, you know, like laughter is a science. And so for my like puzzle brain, that is so much fun to sort of like change one little thing and see how that affects the joke, and then change this little thing and see which one plays, and learning to read an audience. So it's been a real challenge for me in that way, and a real sort of exploration of a new side of being a musical theater actor. And so that has been such a cool opportunity. I don't know that I thought that's where I would end up 5 or 6 years ago when I heard about it, but I'm so grateful that I'm there. I love her so much. And this creative team has really trusted me with her and let me play. I don't want to give too much away. But
she's a fun girl.
She's a lot of fun, and truly they've let me really kind of go hog wild in certain ways that I think has given her even a little more fire and oomph than maybe you know we would have thought in the beginning.
Well, I think you figured out the puzzle. There are no missing pieces because you are hilarious in the part.
Thank you.
I mean, hilarious. So I have to ask about the Tina Fey factor. That was sort of like the #1 thing when you get cast in Mean Girls. I remember when the workshop was happening and the readings were happening. You were involved.
I got involved first in 2015. Wow. I actually looked this up the other day because I wanted to know exactly the first day that I got an email that said Tina Fey was wondering, and I forwarded that email to everyone I knew.
Wow. She was wondering.
Tina Fey was wondering if you would come in and read the role of Karen Smith for this table read that we're doing. And this was, again, back in the summer of 2015.
Had you auditioned, or Tina Fey knew
This
you?
was because I have worked in the past with Nell Benjamin, who does the lyrics.
Yeah, you were in Legally Blonde.
I was in Legally Blonde. And
which is great because you were in college 10 years ago, and now you're in high school.
Right.
It's like an actor's dream.
Right.
It's amazing.
I'm literally reverting backwards in age.
I love it. I love it. And no one's questioning it.
And no one seems to mind, which is lovely. Don't think too hard about that. But so I think, you know, Nell had sort of recommended me as somebody that could come in and do this table read, and then I got to meet Tina and Casey. I'd never worked with Casey either.
Nicola.
Nicola, our director. And I sort of spent the entire time like this, like just like wide-eyed, but like trying to pretend like I was being cool.
So not cool.
And then, you know, a couple years later when they came back around to doing the full production, I did go back in and I did re-audition and go through the kind of the normal process. And what was so, I say sad because I met Tina doing that table read, but when I went back in to audition, I full-on panicked and did my entire audition to Tina, not the reader, and not like an actor does an audition. I just stared at her.
Well, instead of ignoring the obvious elephant in the room, let's just stare at her.
I just stared at her, and I did all my lines to her. It was probably one of the worst auditions I've ever done. I walked out and was like, I just blew it. What happened to you? You've met her before. This isn't the first time you've ever seen her in a room. And I just like fully panicked, and thank God they let me come back.
Did you make her laugh? Did you make her laugh while you were looking at her?
I think she was probably intensely uncomfortable. It's really not a pleasant experience to have an actor deliver too many lines to your face aggressively without blinking.
So what were you like in high school?
Oh, it's so sad. There's a photo out there because we used them for press stuff for Mean Girls. I was very awkward.
Okay.
I had no eyebrows. This is like a thing. I don't know. Someone taught me that you're supposed to tweeze your eyebrows when you were in high school, but I like tweezed them, so they started like here.
Oh wow.
I had braces, of course, and an expander.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Ohio in the late 90s was a really awkward time.
Did you do musicals?
I did. That was my place. That was like, I was always.
What kind of roles did you do?
We did a production of 2 by 2
Oh,
that
a rare
hit
musical
Danny
comedy.
Kaye musical, and
Yeah.
I played Goldie, the not prostitute, because we were in high school. I played a tree and was Ravaz my freshman year. That was a big one.
So you got the big roles.
Wait, ready for this though? When I was 14, I played Grandma Seidel in Fiddler on the Roof.
You really are going backwards.
I really am. My
You're going to
first
play
role
Annie
ever.
next.
I was
You're going to do
dead.
Annie in 10 years. You're just going backwards.
I've never actually thought about that, but you're right. I have literally reverted all the way back.
I love that.
Yeah, all good
It's
stuff,
fun
great
to
stuff.
think about Mean Girls getting done in high schools.
Which it will. It absolutely will. And it
Yeah.
should, frankly,
Yeah.
because while this definitely is a show that adults will appreciate the humor, and I think maybe you can appreciate it in a different way when you've lived through high school and you can look back on it and laugh.
Yes.
I do think that it really resonates with age-appropriate people because it's just so honest and so genuine. And Tina worked really hard to make sure that 15 years after the film, can you believe that, that it was still current for them and that they could still really identify with what it was like to be in high school.
Yeah. Opening night is Sunday. What are you wearing? This is a big event.
I can't tell
Okay,
you.
but you have it all figured out?
I have some of it figured out. I won't say I have all of it.
Okay.
I need a shoe.
Oh, okay.
A shoe
Can't
still.
help
I know you don't have anything I can borrow. But no, I'm really excited about it. It's cool. We're doing, you know, it's Mean Girls musical, so it's like easy to walk in and be like pink, but I think we're all sort of trying to steer away from that a little bit and give a little bit of something different and a little more like cool kid.
Awesome.
So you can tell by me saying that how cool I really am because I use the word like that. So we'll see how I do, but I'm excited about it. It's going to be really fun.
I'm excited for you. This is such a great opportunity for you. I've loved you in so many things over the years, so
Thanks.
I'm so thrilled that you're on the poster. Look at that. It all worked out.
Just laughing at my hair like it's telling a really funny joke.
Everyone, go see Kate in Mean Girls at the August Wilson Theater on Broadway. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
When we come back, Samantha Barks and Steve Kazee give us a sneak peek at Pretty Woman, the musical.
First things first, you need to get a ticket to Travesties. Tom Stoppard's London Smash is Broadway's newest must-see. This wild ride of a comedy has it all. Art, love, revolution, and the Tony Award for Best Play. Don't miss Travesties.
Hi, my name is Lauren Ridloff, and I do the role of Sarah in Children of a Lesser God, and you're watching the Broadway.com show.
Thank you for watching the Broadway.com show.
We leave you with Samantha Barks and Steve Cassie performing You and I from Pretty Woman the musical.
See you next week.
You and I, we got something going.